right, everybody. This is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, and I am your nutritionist. I'm a guy who shares because I care, and I'm going to share something with you today that you want to know about. We're going to talk about institutionalized nutrition. Now, most people that talk about better health and they want to be healthy, they don't really know about institutionalized nutrition, and that's going to change as of today. I want you to totally understand it because all of us benefit from being fully aware of institutionalized nutrition. Because if you don't think that it's affecting you or this part of your life, you are in denial or you're just ignorant. And I don't want you to be ignorant. I want you to be informed. So you're less likely to fall prey to those who are misinformed. Institutionalized nutrition is very, 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 very important to understand. And it impacts all of our lives. And if it's not you now, it will be later. And if it's not you now, it's someone that you love or care about. And it's a problem. See, there's a lot of people walking around who are informed about nutrition, which is great. And we all want to be healthier. And I totally get that. And as a result of wanting to be healthier, we put ourselves in a situation where, well, how do you say this? You're in a place where you want to be healthy. You're not 100% sure on what to do to be healthy. Some of us will follow diets like a carnivore or keto, and we think we're doing good, and we want to believe we're doing good, but you're doing more damage to yourself, which you will have to deal with later. Now, some of you will go, well, I'm only going to do it for a little bit just to get some of the weight off, just to feel, and I get that. There's a very strong allure to that. And unfortunately, as you mature in life and become older, when you take those little shortcuts and think you're doing some positives in a short period of time, and then you will shift into being healthier, you're doing more damage, and some of it is you can't reverse it. You cannot reverse it. You cannot reverse, like, hello. Now, unfortunately, many of the people in my lifetime who took shortcuts, like many of you continue to do, they're not here. I can't call them or do a live interview with them because they're dead. Because they took an approach, and the compound effect of that approach put them in a situation where they have colon cancer, or they had a blood clot, or they died, and they're gone. I can't talk to them. I can't bring them on and get them to admit that everything that I was telling them and encouraging them to do is part of why they're no longer here. That's the saddest part of all of it. Because I wish I could bring them on and talk to them. And then you may be thinking, okay, it's one of those situations where it's like, well, I told you so. Yeah, I've told a whole bunch of people so. I've told a whole bunch of people when they weren't type 2 diabetic, and now they are type 2 diabetic. Or when I go to the post office or I go to the local grocery store, I see clients who used to be my client or people who could have been my client, and I don't even recognize them. They've gained 50, 60, 80, 100 plus pounds, some of these people. Many of them look really good on the outside, but their health is deteriorating in a big way on the inside. And it really came down to just being informed. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you what institutionalized nutrition is. And if you don't think it pertains to you, you better wake up, because it does pertain to you. And it's interesting when I share this kind of information, how many people have parents that after I share information with them, they just let their parents continue to go down this road without the information that I know could help their parent. And now their parent is in a worse situation. I don't understand you people that don't give two shits about your own parent. I don't get that, right? I watch leaders who are like in network marketing, or they're influencers. Like I saw this lady who I have respect for. I like her, but she's not the brightest bulb in the room because she's doing carnivore. And if you're doing carnivore as a diet, you cannot be that bright. I mean, and I'm not trying to be mean, but you can't. Because if I'm going to invest time and energy into someone like that, and I watch them invest time and energy in some crazy ass diet, that's not the kind of person I would want to follow. No, not even a little bit. So I don't know what you guys, you network marketer people, what you're thinking in your mind, but you're selling product, and I know you're compromised. You're just trying to make money, but you skirt around the importance of food as medicine and not make that part of what you share. Like before I got with this company with the Balance Well that I 100% endorse, I talked to 5 other network marketing companies. I talked to the owners of these companies, and I chose not to be a part of these companies because they are compromised. They don't get it. They get making money, and they get selling you product and just lying to this, blatantly lying to you. Blatantly. Because if they had any kind of truth about them, and in all of the companies that I talked to, I said, hey, I want to help you make nutrition a part of what you make available to the people that buy your product, because they got to learn how to eat. You want them to become informed about nutrition that's going to like nourish their body and their health and their longevity. And when these companies blatantly go, and they don't see it, why would I be a part of any of that? I can't be a part of it. When I sat on the science board for a company called Modere, because I endorsed the liquid collagen, which I just happen to know a lot about, I did that because the product was legit. And I was told that the company would be legit in wanting to help people. And when companies don't come through in helping people, I don't want to be compromised and just be a part of them just because I'm getting a check. I'm out. And so many people are compromised. They're just liars. They lie. And those who are misinformed or uninformed just keep believing these lies. And you think that your success and better health is going to be in a pill. You better wake up. There's only one supplement that I've ever come across in my almost 30 years experience in this space that literally is something everybody can use. Everybody needs, actually. Everybody, at least in America and Canada. And it's called the Balance Well. Anyway, I'm starting to lose focus. My goal here is to share with you what we mean by what we mean by when nutrition is part of the system. Industrialized nutrition. Let me give you an example. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, look at that. That looks great. Okay. Dun. Let me get it all set up here. If I can get it set up. I don't think I have it set up for that. So let's go here. So you can see I'm sharing my screen. Now, the woman that you see with the stroller, she is living in a place called assisted living. And when you live in a facility for assisted living, you fall prey to industrialized nutrition. It's internalized. The food that they serve at assisted living is based on the U.S. dietary guidelines, and that's a legal construct, right? So when you're at these facilities, the chef is not just cooking and making meals available based on what he would like you to eat. He has to stay within a formality that fits with the U.S. dietary guidelines. So if the dietary guidelines say you're supposed to eat more carbs, less fat, then that's exactly what is going to happen. Right? So here we go. You're in assisted living, as you can see, the food being delivered. These people don't know that they are experiencing institutionalized nutrition. They have no idea about it. All they know is that there's a menu and that they're going to eat what is being provided. And if you know anyone in assisted living, the people in assisted living, part of what they pay for every month includes some of those meals. And if you're paying for it, even though it may not be the healthiest thing in the world, it's stupid because you're just throwing away money. So institutionalized nutrition is what they make available, right? So a lot of times, if it's not assisted living, let's say it's in a hospital. If you've ever been to a hospital, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You will go, man, the food is just not good. You don't like the food. You start asking family members, hey, can you bring me this or bring me that? Because you don't want to eat what the hospital is serving. But you're being charged for that. And they are serving you food that fits with the U.S. dietary guidelines. So if seed oils are promoted with the guidelines, then the food that you're eating at the hospital or assisted living is part of that. And we know it's not helping you. So hospital food, people get it, right? So that's institutionalized nutrition. Assisted living, institutionalized nutrition, because the government is governing the food, how it's cooked, how it's prepared, and what are the balance of macronutrients that you get served. How much of it is carbs? How much of it is fat? How much of it is protein? That's all institutionalized because it's mandated by the U.S. dietary guidelines, by the government. So the same foods that you're eating when you're in these places is the foods that's causing a lot of the problems. It's really interesting. Now, if it's not assisted living, if it's not the hospital, what if you're in the military? When you go to the cafeteria in the military, or what they call the chow hall, that food is institutionalized. They're giving you options that fit with the government mandate of how you're supposed to eat. You're going to eat seed oils. You're going to have more carbs than you would protein. That's part of institutionalized nutrition. This is where it comes down to like policies. So when you're voting for a president or you're voting, whoever is in Congress, all those people play a huge role in what we're calling institutionalized nutrition. So our military is the fattest it's ever been. We are the weakest we've ever been. Our nutrition in the military is the worst. And I'm a former U.S. Marine. It is the worst of all time. So the same thing you're seeing out here in regular world, people gaining weight, having all of these autoimmune challenges, is the exact same thing that's taking place with our military. They are eating institutionalized nutrition. That's the way it is. Now, once you know, then you can do something about it. But if you're just floating and just kind of just going with the flow, you don't know. You don't know. You don't realize that part of the reason why you're sick is largely based on the foods that you're eating. So when we talked about assisted living, that's institutionalized nutrition. Hospital food, that's institutionalized nutrition. Military, that's institutionalized nutrition. Who's next? Oh, prisons. God forbid if you find yourself in prison. Again, you have cafeteria services. You're going to eat those 3 meals they're going to make available, and they're all based on institutionalized nutrition. It's the U.S. dietary guidelines. So when you go look at the U.S. dietary guidelines, you'll see that seed oils are more important than cooking in butter. you will see that there's a stronger push on carbohydrates and even ultra processed carbs that are part of the problem, but it's part of what is institutionalized. See, a lot of times when people talk about eating, they're thinking about what's ideal and what they experience in their home, right? They're not thinking about what is ideal for their own health and body. And if they got sick and they find themselves in a hospital, notice how many people complain about the food experience in the hospital. It's unbelievable. But this is all institutionalized, you guys. If you're in prison, if you're in assisted living, if you're in a hospital, when that meal comes, that's what you get. There's no a la carte. I can choose to have food brought in from Ruth Chris, Morton's, Fleming's. You don't have that option. You get what is part of the program. Another place where you have food institutionalized, the kids. When your kid goes to school, that food that they are served is the same framework for the food that's served at prisons, for the food that's served at assisted living, for the food that's served in hospitals. It's institutionalized. It's all based on policies and what the government believes is best for you. Unbelievable. So a lot of times people go, well, I don't eat okay, well, what if you end up in prison? What if your kid is going to school? And they teach them about nutrition in school. Not only is the food that they're getting, because my kids complain about the food all the time. And a lot of kids are eating that food because that's the only food that they're going to probably get for the day. So institutionalized food is playing a huge role in why we have more kids with obesity, more kids with fatty liver, more kids in pain and in the strain because they want to be healthy. Nobody wants to be sick. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So institutionalized nutrition is what is happening every day and is impacting millions and millions of people. And you would think it would help them get healthier? No. It's helping them remain sick and in constant decline. We got to change this. Now, unbeknownst to most people, there's this thing called the food compass. And the food compass is now part of the indoctrination, meaning this has been implemented through the Biden administration by way of Tufts University, and it's frightening. So let me share with you what I mean by that. The food compass is based on scoring. So they looked at thousands of foods. They gave them a number between 0 and 100. If it's over 70, that's considered a food that you want to eat more regularly. If it's under 30, that's a food you want to cut back on and maybe avoid if you can. And this is happening right now. So let me give you an intro. And I've talked about this in the past. So as you can see here, this is a breakdown, basic score. So you can see watermelon at the top is given a number 100. Canned peaches, number 97. Cheerios is recommended, which is extremely processed, is given a number 95. That's intriguing. And as you go down to the very bottom, you can see ground beef, which a lot of people eat every day, is considered in the red, which is something you want to avoid. That's pretty scary because you're telling me to eat Cheerios, but don't consume ground beef. Something's off here. And if you chase the money or follow the money, you'll see exactly why it's off. See, non-fat chocolate frozen yogurt is considered something you want to eat regularly. Chocolate covered almonds, based on the Biden administration around food, is something you want to eat regularly. But at the bottom, ground beef is given a number 26. It's something you should avoid and cut back on. Cheddar cheese, something I eat regularly, is something that they're saying is bad. It's being demonized. Eggs fried in butter is something I do probably 5 days a week. It's considered bad, but yet Cheerios is considered good. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. These are foods that are in the middle. Lucky Charms is still better than an egg cooked in butter. Sweet potato fries is still better than cheddar cheese. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But this is the world that we live in, and this is what we must become fully knowledgeable of. It's pretty scary, you guys. It really is. So when you hear about the food mandates, don't think about what you're choosing at home. Think about what most people are going to be educated on. They're being educated on the fact that it's to their best interest to eat Cheerios than eat an egg cooked in butter. Doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you. If you're not informed of this, right? So go to your friends when you go over and you have dinner with some friends. And let's say that you bring up nutrition. Ask them, hey, have you heard of the food compass? They go, oh, no, what's that? Well, the Biden administration has been working with Tufts University to create this new way of looking at nutrition. And it has 3 levels. It has foods you should eat all the time. It has foods that are kind of in the middle. And then it has foods that you should cut back on or avoid if all possible. And then your friends are going to go, oh, like what? Well, the new food compass is saying that if you eat an egg, you know how you eat eggs and you cook them in butter? That's considered something you should avoid and stop doing. Now, in comparison, they're saying Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms is way healthier than an egg cooked in butter. Now, your friends are all going to go, oh, that's stupid. They're going to be completely in alignment with you. 100%. But don't forget that all these things that we're talking about become part of what is institutionalized nutrition. Because if you forget, you'll be reminded when you find yourself in a hospital and they serve you that food and you're like, I don't eat this. This is crap. Yeah. Well, there's a whole new generation being born and raised under this tutelage that says this is the real way of eating. And when you and I are gone, those kids growing up are growing up being indoctrinated to believe that highly processed or ultra processed foods like a Lucky Charms is better than an egg that comes out of a chicken and cooked in butter that has been used and consumed for years. And again, you're thinking, yeah, not me. Okay. But it's going to influence a lot of people that aren't you. So God bless, you're informed. But a lot of people are not. And they don't understand nutrition. If they did, going back to my complete opening, why would an educated, seemingly wise person do a diet like carnivore or keto or intermittent fasting? And any of the people who advocate those things, I would love to have them on and we can have a conversation about it. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to win. That's why you won't see that conversation. Because everything that I do is evidence-based and clinically proven. So if I have people eating eggs and I have people eating vegetables and I have people eating bread and I have people eating pasta, I have people eating regular everyday food that you can get anywhere that's in most people's homes, and I'm able to show them how to eat in order to lose weight, improve their health, and we're successful every time, why would someone do carnivore? Like that would show that they are just ignorant. They're uninformed. They don't have the know-how or they don't have the knowledge. And if they're in the space of network marketing, why would you listen to someone that is promoting something that goes against what would be proper nutrition and proper health? So it's the blind leading the blind in a lot of these companies. And I don't have much respect for people who are just selling a lie. I don't. And I'm going to call them on it because the truth is better and I want to help people. So when I watch an influencer post something about carnivore or keto, you don't got to do my program. You can do whatever you want. But if you're promoting something that I know is not going to help other people, I'm going to comment on it. So just unfriend me. Because to watch you just influence people to just do some sorry, crazy ass way of eating that's going to set them up for other problems that will come later, I can't be silent about that. And I borrowed that from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So there you have it. So you now have a better understanding of what we mean by institutionalized nutrition. And you have a better understanding of when we get compromised and we are indoctrinated to believe things that are not serving our best interests. So there you go. What a productive day it's been, let me tell you. So you guys have a good one. I'm Robert Ferguson. As I always say, I share because I care. Watch this again and again to really understand what is going on. And what can we do about it? Well, we can start choosing politicians that are not going to be compromised, that will look at the importance of proper nutrition, removing a lot of the crazy ingredients in a lot of the foods in the United States, and kind of like reverse engineering things so that we can get people healthier. And I'm seeing it. I see it all the time. But I also know that there's a lot of people that don't want to see it and they want to come up with what they think is best. And because they're influencers, you may find yourself eating and doing things that is not helping you, but you're doing it because you were inspired by other people to do it. And you're doing it with no knowledge, no real understanding of what you're doing around nutrition. And most people that I meet, they will advocate that they're doing everything right with their nutrition. And then I just find out that they're not. And then I educate them on it. I bring awareness to it. And then as a result, they get it. And they usually get pissed off because they were fooled. They were bamboozled. They were hoodwinked. It happens to the, I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. It happens. Not around nutrition, but other things. So anyway, what's up, Darlene? How you doing? Sandy, I'm glad you guys made it. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy rock and roll. Keep everything moving forward. And just keep challenging yourself to take things to the next level when it comes to your personal health and well-being. You got this, and you can win. The biggest challenge is, can you stay the course? I believe you can. I'm Robert Ferguson, your nutritionist, a guy who shares because I care. There are links there, so if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you want to subscribe to our newsletter, make sure you do that. Other than that, I will be back mañana. That means tomorrow. That's what mañana means. Oh, my goodness. All right, you guys. Let me be the one. I'm out of here. Until the next one. Peace out.